everybody, welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Chelsea and I am a narcissistic abuse survivor. And this channel talks about my journey during the narcissistic abuse and how I escaped it. So today I want to steer away from my narcissistic family and talk about an ex-boyfriend that was narcissistic, and I want to tell you guys what I went through with him. So let's get started. So when I was in my early 20s, I was dating a guy that was a lot older than me. We were together, we dated off and on for 9 years. I know what you're thinking, 9 years, I should have never stayed with this man for as long as I did, but I did. Because I really wanted things to work out between us. I thought we can get past any obstacles that we went through or whatever. But now I would have to say in this relationship, we were both very toxic, not just him, but me too. But at least unlike him, I owned up to my toxicity, which means I basically took responsibility for my actions, unlike him. So there was infidelity on both ends. At least I was woman enough to admit to him that I cheated, but him, no. He swore up and down that he hasn't cheated, but I'm not stupid. And because of that, he would try to turn around. He said, well, you did it, you cheated, this and that, a third, blah, blah, blah. I never cheated. But see, here's what really kind of gave him away, and he kind of basically told on himself, because when we used to go to the bars together, and pretty much everybody there at the bar, the bartenders included, all knew who he was. And he's like, oh yeah, this is my friend, this and that, the third, they all know me here, this and that, I was like, and just the way that he was just very flirtatious with these other girls right in front of me. I mean, he was very bold with it. I mean, I swear, I wish I was making this up, but he was very flirtatious with these other girls, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And then when I tell him, and then when I confront him about this, it turns into a big argument, and he'll be like, oh, well, that's just how I am. I'm very, I'm very friendly, and I can't help that people like me and stuff like that, and not you, and people don't talk to you. It's not my fault that you're so antisocial or whatever. He wasn't lying about that, because I am very antisocial to this very day. I don't talk to nobody, but still, just for him to do that in my face, right in my face, it just says a lot about his feelings and his lack of respect towards me. And this went on off and on for years on end, for those 9 years that went on. And there was this one particular girl that he called his sister, okay? And I remember it was during the time when I was homeless, and me and my son were temporarily living with my mom. Now, I've met this girl once. I met this girl one time, and he met this girl at work, the job he was at the time. And anyway, this was 1 o'clock at night in the morning. And mind you, my mom and stepdad were asleep. My son was asleep. We were talking. And he had the audacity to say, oh yeah, I'm on call. I'm like, on call for what? He's like, well, she's about to have her baby soon. I'm like, why is that any of your concern? Are you trying to tell me that you're the baby's father or something? Because you seem way, way too concerned for this girl that you claim as your sister. Tell me, does that make sense to any of you guys? Seriously. Okay, if this man's supposed to be your boyfriend or husband, fiance, whoever, but yet he's pretty much showing his attention to this other girl who he claims as his sister, and that, you know, he's on call because she's due to have her baby any day or whatever. Let me tell you, I was very livid about this. I'm like, why are you effing entertaining her and giving her, you know, pretty much being there for her when you could even be there for me? Like the way that you're being there for her type of thing. Now, and he tried, of course, he tried to make it look like that I'm crazy. He, like I said, gaslight. You already know when it comes to narcissists, they are the kings and queens of gaslighting. And this mofo literally gaslight me to the fullest, making me out to be crazy. He's like, oh, well, you know this, you met her, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's like my sister, da, 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 da. I'm like, I was born in the morning, but not this morning. And I can clearly see that there's more than just a whole brother-sister relationship. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that there's more than just a friendship, brother-sister type of thing going on. I mean, come on now, Stevie Wonder can see that he was full of shit. So this same girl that he called his sister that was pregnant, prior to the incident that I told you, this girl, she posted on Facebook, and the caption said, hey, I'm here with my big bro. We out here kicking it, whatever, whatever. And I remember I called him about it. Well, no, I didn't call him. I texted him about it. I'm like, so what is this? And he's like, well, you know, that's my sister. That's like my sister, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, why the hell why is it okay for her to post a picture of you two on Facebook, but you can't even get a picture taken with me? I know they say not to glorify your relationship or look for validation on social media with your relationship or whatever, but just the audacity of him letting this girl post a picture of him and her on Facebook, but trying to get him to take a selfie with me was like pulling teeth. Okay. So, and then he was like, so are you done? He's like, are we done? Like, you don't want to be with me no more? And I was like, I don't know at this point. I really don't know at this point. I mean, you got this bitch here posting, you let this bitch post pictures of y'all two together, but I can't even get you to take a selfie with me? Like, what the hell? So that was an ongoing thing, and it was a lot of issues between our relationship. And then I just hate that he can just so openly and freely talk to me about other girls, whether he claims that's his sister or cousin or whoever. I mean, it just really grinded my gears. Now, to some people, at least to him, I was insecure, but like, he was making me feel that way because his actions did it. And then his actions kind of pushed me to do what I was doing, and that was me cheating too. Like, once again, cheating is not a mistake, it's a choice, and I knew what I did was wrong. Once again, I owned up to my mistakes. I never denied, doing what I did, but he did. And that's one thing about a narcissist. They don't ever, ever admit to their wrongdoings. Even though they can swear up and down they're not doing it, but the evidence is there in the pudding. It's right there in the pudding. It's there in black and white. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and there were times that I went through his phone and found like different girls' numbers. And one time I caught him on a dating website, the same dating website that we met on. And then he had a Plenty of Fish account. I mean, and then when I confront him about that, he's like, oh, well, I only talk to girls on there because I be bored. I'm like, what? Are you serious? You talk to them because you're bored. What? And you have a whole girlfriend right here. Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? But you claim you're bored. You got a whole damn game system you could have played if you were so-called bored. So basically, during and then we were in this pattern where I would say, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to keep doing this with you. I'm effing done. And we would break up for about a day or two, and then he'll message me, he'll text me and be like, oh, so, you know, I really wish you would understand. I really wish you would, you know, he would just tell me like, oh, I really wish that you would be more secure and trust me and stuff like that. Typical narcissist shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, I just wish you would trust me more, and you should be able to trust me to go out and, you know, I like to kick it and have fun and this and that and the third. I said, listen, I never said you can go out and that you couldn't go out and have fun and kick it. But that's another thing about my ex too. He didn't know how to keep a balance, you know, hang out with his friends or whatever, and then come spend time with me. And after a while, I kind of felt like he treated me like a booty call. Like, he'll be out with his peoples or whatever, and then call me at 12, 1, 2 in the morning, wanting to come over and spend the night or whatever, crash. And then after that, he'll go home the first thing in the morning. And I just felt so low about myself, because I'm like, is this where our relationship has come to? Like, he goes out and kicks it with his friends and then comes sees me at 1, 2 in the morning. Did I really just become some booty call to him type of thing? And it really saddened me, because like, I cannot believe that this is where it has come to. You know, I mean, I knew that I deserved better than this. So once again, I finally said I was done. I was completely done, because, you know, I knew that I deserved better, because I couldn't keep torturing myself like this and being in this relationship knowing it's no good for me. My mom tried to tell me about him and just told me to leave him alone, because obviously you're not important to him in his life. You're not priority. You're not top priority for him. I mean, just look he puts other people above you, and you're at the bottom of the barrel, and you don't deserve that. So once again, I said I was done. And I remember that last time we didn't see or talk to each other in like 2-3 months. We were broken up for 2-3 months. And I ended up dating someone else. I ended up seeing someone else for a little bit. And he messaged me one night around 11, 12 o'clock at night, and saying like, oh, I really miss you, and, you know, I really wish that, you know, we could be together. You know, just this is what he does, and this is what any typical narcissist would do too. Like, they would tell you a bunch of sweet nice things and sweet talk you and all this other stuff. And this is what he did. He would send me messages and say, you know, I miss you, and I want us to be together, and, you know, we have so much history, and, you know, there's no other woman I want but you, just that kind of stuff. So one day he picked me up after I picked up my son up from daycare, and we sat in the car at the parking lot in front of my son's daycare before I actually went inside to go pick him up. And we talked for a long time. And he said that, you know, we've been through so much together, and I don't want us to throw away, you know, 8-9 years, because it's just, you know, we have too many, he keeps saying that we have so much history together, and we shouldn't throw it away. You know, he's like, I love you, and I want to be with you and you only, and we can even move in together. Because, I mean, I already had my own place at the time, and he's like, I'll move in with you. All I need is a key. Because even prior to that, he's like, well, I would come by more often if you give me a key. I'm like, listen, and I had this rule for him. I'm not going to give you a key to my house just so you can run in and out of here. Absolutely not. If I'm going to give you a key to my house, you are to come home. You are to come in this house every night, not stay at your mom's house or wherever. And once again, like I said, it was a bunch of other sweet talk and stuff. And then we kind of like got back together, and I ended up leaving the other guy and going back to him. I know, stupid mistake for me. So we got back together, and that very, very last time that we got back together, everything was good for about 3 months. I wouldn't even give it that long. I'd say about a month, maybe. Everything was good. Everything was how it was when we met, how at the beginning of our relationship. And it was just like old times. But as time went on, I started to see his old self come about. And this time, even though he was living with me in my house, he would leave. Like I said, he'll go to work and then he'll stop at the bowling alley and go chill with his peoples. You know what I'm saying? Because the bowling, like, you know, if he wasn't at the bar, he was at the bowling alley. Like, he loved the bowl type of thing. So he would go over there. It was like he was trying to avoid coming home to me. Like, damn, I mean, we don't spend time together. Like, you don't take the time to spend with me after you get off work. I mean, I get off at a certain decent time where we could spend time together or whatever. So after a while, he would just avoid, I wouldn't say avoid coming home. I would just say he'll stay out all night and then come home late. And then here's the kicker. When he lived here with me, he would not sleep in the bed with me. He would rather sleep on the couch. He would not sleep in the bed with me. And it made me really, really feel bad about myself. And my self-esteem level was all the way down to ground zero. And he claimed that I took up the whole bed. Mind you, I have a queen size bed, okay? So there was plenty of room for both of us to sleep on that bed. And for him to sit there and say, well, you take up the whole bed and you know that I have to sleep with the TV on and you don't, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I wasn't buying it. And something told me that he was texting other girls. You know, that's why he wanted to sleep on the couch. Not just because he fell asleep with the TV on, but I know that he was texting other girls late at night. And who's to say he might have snuck some of those girls in my house while I was upstairs sleeping? I would not put it past him. That he seemed the type that would do some shit like that. I wouldn't doubt it. So fast forward to November of 2018, a week after Thanksgiving, and he got news that his paternal grandmother passed away. Now, mind you, he never really talked about his dad or his dad's side of the family like that to me. I mean, he mentioned his dad here and there. He mentioned a few of his siblings on his dad's side. But according to him, that his dad was such a deadbeat and wasn't really there for him all like that. So he was really making it hard for me to be there for him at his time of need. And but he did the most, as far as he took time off from work and he went to the funeral and he went to the repast and got his grub on and of course got his drink on. Forgot to mention too that he is an alcoholic, but he is what you call one of those stable alcoholics, to where like he would drink and then he will go to work, you know, like basically a stable alcoholic that would still maintain a job and all that jazz. But anyway, yeah, he got real drunk. And I remember he called me as he was driving home to let me know he was on his way home. And we had a good civil conversation about that on the phone. He was letting me know he was on his way. I just told him to be careful, you know, driving home, because, you know, I know you've had some drinks in you and stuff like that. He's like, oh, I'll be careful, blah, blah, blah. So he comes home, and I really don't remember what transpired, but I remember we ended up having a big, huge fight, like a big blowout fight. And I told him, I'm so sick and tired of you putting other people before me. You know, I'm sorry about your grandmother and all this other stuff. This isn't about that. It's just that you pretty much make time for things and people that you want to make time for, but I'm supposed to be your girlfriend and you don't do that. You put other people before me and it's just not fair to me and all this other stuff. I mean, I know this was wrong for me to say, considering that he just got back from a funeral and stuff like that, but I was just so irritated. I was just so over it. And I kind of believe when that happened that was really the straw that broke the camel's back. And finally I said, you know what? I am done with you for good. I want you to get all your stuff and get the hell up out of my house. I am done. I am so done. And he said, you know what? No problem. When you go to work tomorrow, I will not be here when you get back. I said, fine, good. I don't want to be with you anymore. If I have to keep dealing with this, with you putting other people before me, I don't want to do it no more. I wasted 9 years of my life dealing with you. At that time I was 29. I was like, I am almost 30 years old, and I should not have to deal with this with you. I've been dealing with this for 9 years. I'm not about to deal with this for another 9 more years. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this again. So the next morning, I already got dressed. I had my son dressed, and I was about ready to head out the door. And he was like, well, I know we're not together anymore, and I know you don't want to be with me no more, but can you at least let me, I don't want your son to be out sitting in the cold or whatever, so let me at least drop him off at daycare. I said, fine. And even after that, he had it in his mind that I already had somebody on standby to take his place as my man, when that was clearly not the case. But yeah, I let him drop my son off daycare, and that was that. And I ended up not going to work that day. I was just so distraught over our final breakup. And I ended up staying at a friend's house until it was time for me to pick up my son from daycare. And like I said, I just could not. I knew if I went to work that day, I wouldn't be able to concentrate. I was just, I was just so done with him. I was like, I knew when I came home, after I came home, everything looked so different. And I knew that, I'm back to being by myself. And it was going to take me something to get used to, but I knew that I needed to do this for myself and for my son, because I didn't want my son to grow up thinking that our relationship, with the toxicity that it was okay. And I didn't want, I knew my son deserved better than that. He deserved a stable family environment, and me staying with my ex would not give him that stability. So I did what I had to do. And we texted here and there after he left. And what's crazy is I remember 2 weeks before we broke up that final time, we went Christmas shopping for my son, and he picked out what he wanted, what we was going to get him and stuff like that. And we got him this basketball thing, and I set it up, and he wanted me to text him a picture of him playing with it, which I did. And here and there, and then like after that, after months on end went by, and he would message me to check on me and stuff like that. I think he was trying to butter his way back in my life. And I remember calling my mom. I called my mom the day after we broke up that final time. And I remember calling my mom and telling her what happened. And she's like, well, I'm not going to say I told you so, because that would be wrong for me to say. But if you want, your son, because I remember my little sister called me asking if she could stay the weekend with me too. So I remember I had my son and my little sister with me, and we ended up staying with my mom for the weekend. And I knew my mom was trying to help me out to try to get my mind off of my breakup with him. And I appreciate my mom for that. So when we went back, after that weekend was gone, and I ended up going back home, and it was a really difficult time for me to grieve that relationship, because mind you, I was with this guy off and on for 9 years. 9 years of my life. That's 9 years that I can't get back, not even if I wanted to. And like I said, we did text here and there, and then when I found out that my little sister ran away due to, you know, my family, you know, and stuff like that, and I ended up reaching out to him to see if he could help me find her, because my sister loved him too. She was very close with him too, and I reached out to him to help me find her, and eventually I ended up finding her, and he drove us back to my house, and that was that. And he literally thought that we were going to get back together right then and there. He literally thought, I mean, because he thought that when I reached out to him, because I was really at loss for words, because I didn't know who to call. I didn't know who can help me find my sister when she ran away. Like, I was kind of desperate, and I did reach out to him to help me find her, which he did. He helped me find her. And then months later, I ended up meeting my husband, and we hit it off, and I think this was me and my husband's second date. Well, before we were married, we were boyfriend and girlfriend. I wouldn't even call it boyfriend and girlfriend. We were just this was our second date. So I was out on my second date with him, and I posted a story on my Facebook page, and my ex, he commented on it. He's like, "Oh, you look so happy now, this and the third. That's all I ever wanted for you," type of thing. And I knew that he was trying to, once again, butter his way back into my life. And I remember calling my mom several different times about my ex texting me and things like that. And my mom, she's like, you just gotta stick to your guns this time. I know there were times where you would say you were done, but then like 2 to 3 days later, you guys are back together. But when you say that you're done, you have to be done with him and stick to your guns this time, because you know that he's never going to change. That's one thing you had to keep telling yourself. He'll be good for about a couple of days, a week or two, maybe a month, but then after all that, he'll go right back to the BS. And I'm glad I had my mom to encourage me to stick to my guns on that and to not go back to him. But after all that, I managed to heal from that relationship, because one thing I've learned in that relationship is that, anytime that someone puts you on the back burner and put other people before you, that just shows where you stand in their life, that you're not that important to them like you think you are to them. And that's all there is to it. And knowing that I can't take back those 9 years I was with him, but those were 9 hard years of a lesson learned. And when he found that I got married, he said, "Congrats, I'm happy for you." And that was the last time I wouldn't say we spoke, because I remember I didn't even reply back when he congratulated me when I got married. But I knew that after that, I remember my husband, he wanted me to remove him as a friend on Facebook, because he didn't want him to interfere in our relationship, now marriage. And I respected my husband for that, and I did that. And I think by me deleting him off my Facebook page and everything from social media kind of gave me that breath of fresh air, because I think me still having him as a friend on Facebook and stuff, I was still holding on for hope that maybe we can come back together and, and work things out. But I knew that letting him go in that manner was the right thing to do for myself and now my new husband, and so on and so forth. And like I said, I haven't talked to him in 4 years. We've been broken up for 4 years, and I'm proud of myself knowing that I got myself out of that toxic relationship and I can move on with my life and be happy for once in my life with my husband, because my husband is everything that I hoped for, and he's pretty much the complete opposite of my ex, because my husband, you know, always puts me first. He puts me and my son first, and I love him and appreciate him for that. And I'm always going to love him and appreciate him for that, because that's something that a man's supposed to do. When he loves his woman, he always puts her first above all. And that there alone, I love my husband more than anything in this world. And he taught me about how a man's supposed to treat me. And I'm thankful for that. But I'm going to wrap up this video and just pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much everything that I told you about my narcissistic toxic ex. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn, but I'm just glad that I managed to escape that and be happy and move on with my life, and that I can go further in my life without him stopping me and blocking me from blessings, for future blessings. So yeah, that's it, and that's all. And I hope you guys enjoyed my video here, and once again took heed on what I was saying. So don't forget to like and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel. I also have another channel that talks nothing but makeup, and that's called Chelsea J Beauty. So if you're into makeup, go in there and check that out. I will also put it in the description box below. But other than that, I hope you guys have a blessed and prosperous day or evening wherever you are, and I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.